So for today's lesson, we are going to be moving into learning about the distributive property. So you have a chart here that explains what the distributive property is. And pretty much what the distributive property is when you distribute, you give out the number on the outside of the parentheses to each number on the inside of the parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to go into the steps that you take to be able to do that. But on this slide, if you click on my Bitmoji, there is a video, it's right here, that gives you the definition and another video besides myself of how to do the distributive property. So for the first step, how to solve a distributive property, you're going to circle the number in front of the parentheses and use arrows to show which number it will be distributed to. So what I mean by that is circle the number in front of the parentheses, so I circle the 5, okay? And then I use arrows to show which number will be distributed to, meaning the 5 is going to be given to the 7, and the 5 is also going to be given to the 8, okay? So I like to think of this as like trick-or-treating. So when you go trick-or-treating, 5 is the house that you are 7, and your best friend is 8. You go there, and you're expecting 5 to give you a piece of candy and your best friend a piece of candy. So you don't want to split the candy. So each one of you is going to get that 5. Okay, it's the piece of candy. So then once you each got your piece of candy, you're going to be represented in a different way. You're going to be represented as 5 times 7 plus 5 times 8. You have your own area with your candy, and your best friend has their own area with the candy, and you represent that with your parentheses. This right here is considered an equivalent expression. Okay, it's equal to. So if I were to solve both those problems, I would get the same answer. So you represent the distribution of the outside number by showing the multiplication of it with each given value. So like that's being saying, the 5 was distributed out because it's the outside number. It was being distributed to the 7, and it's distributed to the 8. This plus sign is a plus sign because there's a plus sign above in our original problem. So whatever that sign is in between our numbers in the parentheses, that's the number, that's the sign of the operation that goes in between our equivalent expression. Okay, so then our last step that we're going to take is step 3, which step 3 is to solve each set of parentheses and add the products together. So you're going to add the products together. And what I mean by that, okay, so here's our original problem right here. Okay, this is our original problem. Okay, we made, when we went trick-or-treating, we each got our own piece of candy. So this step 3 is telling us that we need to now solve each parentheses. So 5 times 7 is 35, and 5 times 8 is 40. Okay, 35 plus 40 is the same thing as, the answer would be 75. So if I were to solve this and type that in a calculator exactly how it is, I would get 75. If I were to type this equivalent expression in the calculator, I would get this 75. If I type 35 plus 40 in a calculator, I get 75. Okay, so each one of these expressions is equivalent. It's equal to 5 parentheses 7 plus 8. Okay, that's very important to know, right? So that's the distributive property.